Welcome to another episode of the Curtis Zone, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, you are watching me, my hair, my smiling face, and of course, my bouncing pecs as your ever so humble and handsome host, Dylan J. Curtis, as I talk all things action-packed children's programming. Today, we are going to do some Star Wars content. I realize it's been a while since we've done Star Wars content, so I'm going to be doing it for you guys. I haven't done it since May 4th, so let's get started. We have asked ourselves, who's your favorite Sith? Now, don't be shy, alright? I know there's a lot of Sith in Star Wars canon, the Star Wars movies, the animated shows, but I'm going to be sticking to the 12 most popular of the Star Wars franchise, and I'm going to be asking myself and you guys, who's your favorite Sith? Now, before we get started, as always, ladies and gentlemen, news. Now, as you know, here on the Curtis Zone, we talk about all things news as well, everything that's prominent. And here's the first thing that's prominent: the fact that the new trailer for One Piece Season 2 has dropped, and it is looking amazing. From the action to the set pieces to the designs of all the characters who look like they're ripped right out of the animes. I hope that everyone's ready for it as much as I am. I mean, come on, it looks pretty cool. The next piece of news is from the world of Marvel. They have announced that Pedro Pascal has finished all of his scenes for Avengers Doomsday, and he has left the set. And it is being announced that a lot of other actors are finishing up their scenes right now. They're wrapping up all the filming, and this should be done sometime late this December and should be released in next December. So let's wait for that, shall we? The final piece of news is this: it has been reported that Margot Robbie will not be returning for her role in the upcoming DCU. This is due to the fact that she is done with the character and the fact that the DCU needs to move on itself. It's looking like we're going to get a new Harley Quinn, or they might introduce Punchline into the DCU. Let's wait for that, shall we? For those of you who are new to the channel and don't know how these Who's Your Favorite episodes work, I talk about the most prominent characters that in the Star Wars universe, or in this case, the Sith, and then I tell you who my favorite Sith is, and then you, the viewer, leave in the comment section down below who your favorite Sith is. Let's get started. I'm going to talk about the 12 most popular Sith Lords in the Star Wars franchise. Let's get started right now. Kicking it off and going in strong right now, the first Sith Lord we're going to talk about is Darth Sidious. The reason why is because of this. Darth Sidious is one of the most powerful Sith ever, not just in force and lightsaber combat, but also in political power as well. Darth Sidious was able to trick the entire Republic into thinking that he had no power, so that he could take over his seat as Chancellor. In other words, he is one of the most powerful Sith, not just in the Force, but also in mind as well. Darth Sidious also led the creation of the clone army, which eventually became the Stormtroopers, and who executed Order 66, which destroyed the entire Jedi Order. In other words, you do not want to mess with Darth Sidious. The next Sith we're going to talk about is known as Asajj Ventress. Asajj Ventress did not have a name in the original Genndy Tartakovsky version of Star Wars The Clone Wars, which is where she was first introduced. But she did get a name in the new version of Star Wars The Clone Wars. Asajj Ventress is a very popular character because she's the only Sith that wields two lightsabers and is the most amazing lightsaber duelist I've ever seen. She used two lightsabers to fight a Jedi Master, a Jedi Knight, and a Padawan learner at the same time. Yes, she deserves a spot that we're going to talk about, okay? Anyone knows who Lord Tyrannus, aka Count Dooku, is, but here's what you don't know about him. Count Dooku was the guy who trained General Grievous, but beyond that, Count Dooku helped start the Clone Wars, which led to a series of events which created the new Galactic Empire. This is after he would train General Grievous, and before he trained General Grievous, he trained Qui-Gon Jinn. And everyone knows Qui-Gon Jinn is a very strong Jedi Master. So yes, Count Dooku is a fan favorite Sith Lord. Speaking of General Grievous, he's another character we're going to talk about. General Grievous is the leader of Count Dooku's entire droid army. This is due to the fact that General Grievous is a droid himself. General Grievous may not have knowledge of the Force, but he's the most proficient lightsaber duelist ever. He wields 6 lightsabers. So he wields 6 lightsabers at a time. Why, you may ask? Because General Grievous does not just fight with his 4 detachable arms. He also can use lightsabers with his feet, for God's sakes. I thought that was impressive to see. I don't know about anybody else. I thought that was impressive. The next Sith Lord we're going to talk about is Darth Nihilus. Darth Nihilus was once an apprentice of Darth Traya. This is when she realized his hunger for souls. And due to that fact, Darth Nihilus became even more powerful. Darth Nihilus is not the most proficient lightsaber duelist, but this is due to the fact that he can consume all Force energy inside of a planet so much to where he can destroy it. Darth Nihilus used this power to destroy an entire planet one time. And because of this, Darth Nihilus' entire body was destroyed, but his spirit lived on inside of his armor. In other words, he is the scariest and most creepiest Sith Lord that we're going to talk about here today. A lot of people confuse this guy with Darth Vader, but his real name is Darth Malvagith. He is the lightsaber duelist from the Sith Order who simply took back an entire world from the Republic after he led an assault. He even led an assault against the Jedi homeworld and single-handedly destroyed an army of Jedi. The people confuse him with Darth Vader due to the fact that he wears a cape and a breathing apparatus and a hood. However, he is the Sith Lord that you don't want to mess with. The next Sith we're going to talk about is Darth Plagueis. Darth Plagueis is the Sith Lord that created the Rule of Two. Why, you may ask? Because after training Darth Sidious, he was killed in his sleep by his apprentice Darth Sidious. This is due to the fact that Darth Sidious wanted to take all this power for his own. This is why he created the Rule of Two: a master and an apprentice. However, though most of his backstory is no longer canon, it is basically told that he is more of a Jedi mystic than a warrior. He is not the most proficient and most powerful lightsaber duelist. He hardly ever uses a lightsaber, from what we understand. But he is more skilled with the Force than anyone in Star Wars canon. This includes Master Yoda, my friends. Which is no minor feat. The next Sith we're going to talk about is Darth Vitiate. The reason why Darth Vitiate is such an important Sith Lord is because he is the most powerful of all Sith in the entire Star Wars universe. I'm talking the most powerful Sith. So powerful and so evil that he became the Emperor of the Sith itself. This is due to the fact that he had the ability to use his knowledge of the Force to trap people within their own minds, which is no minor feat, my friends. He also oversaw the creation of the Sith Empire from the ground up. This is after he would be given his title Sith Emperor. An impressive and I think that everyone can agree when I say that it's very powerful. All right, this guy is very powerful. All right, I'm losing my train of thought here, but that is a very powerful Sith Lord. The next Sith Lord we're going to talk about is Marco Ragnos. Marco Ragnos is one of the most powerful Force users, most proficient lightsaber duelist, and the most brilliant strategist ever. Marco Ragnos, instead of wielding a lightsaber, he wielded a Sith sword inside of a mystical Sith scepter that was powered by Sith magic. I know I said the word Sith a lot. However, Marco Ragnos was so strong in the Force that he lived on as a Force ghost for thousands of years. And doing so, he would select future Sith for the entire galaxy. The next Sith we're going to talk about is the most famous Sith Lord ever, and that would be Darth Vader. Darth Vader became very popular because he was the first villain introduced in the Star Wars universe. And also, Darth Vader was once a Jedi named Anakin Skywalker. Everyone knows his story. Darth Vader was once a Jedi trained by Obi-Wan Kenobi and he married Queen Amidala. However, he was seduced by the power of the dark side, and he would become Darth Vader after his destruction on a volcanic planet where Obi-Wan should have finished him, but did not. He would then run the entire Dark Empire under Darth Sidious's control. This will eventually lead to a storyline which would go to his redemption as a father and as a Jedi, where he would destroy Darth Sidious. The next Sith Lord we're going to talk about is Darth Revan. Why are we talking about Darth Revan? You may ask, even though I did an episode of it on him somewhere up here that you can find it. I don't know which side. Darth Revan is a very strong lightsaber duelist, and a very powerful Force user. He is the strongest Force user ever because he once used his knowledge of the Force to wield 4 lightsabers at once with only 2 hands. 2 in his hands, the other 2 just flying around like helicopter blades. He was once a Jedi who became a Sith, then went back to the Jedi Order. He was so knowledgeable in both the Jedi arts and the arts of the Sith that he became feared by both. So feared, in fact, that this was cemented after he defeated the Mandalorians, which is no minor feat, my friends. If you know who the Mandalorians are, you know why it's no minor feat. The final Sith Lord we're going to talk about is Darth Maul. Why are we talking about Darth Maul, you may ask? Because Darth Maul is technically trained as a Jedi assassin. He was trained by Darth Sidious to be a Jedi assassin. The reason why Darth Sidious trained him to be a Jedi assassin is because Darth Sidious was trying to eliminate Jedi to create the Galactic Empire. But after his destruction by Obi-Wan Kenobi, Darth Maul would go crazy and get robotic legs. This was until his eventual redemption, and he would team up with his brother, and the two of them would go around trying to subjugate the rest of the Republic and eventually come face to face with Darth Sidious again. And this would lead to a lightsaber battle that, even though they lost, it was still pretty impressive to see. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I love that. One. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, the Curtis Zone comes to a close. But before I go, let me tell you who my favorite Sith is, and that it would be Darth Maul. I don't care what anybody says. I don't know or care what anybody says. The fight between him, Obi-Wan, and Qui-Gon Jinn was so impressive to see. Okay? And after his redemption, it was so cool to see how he would redeem himself and become even stronger after his eventual destruction. So he's pretty cool. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us here on the Curtis Zone, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed making it. Don't be shy. Get in the comment section down below and tell me who your favorite Sith is, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be shy, guys. Really let us have it, alright? Get in the conversations, alright? I will see you guys soon. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or you just want to make a request for any episode period, leave it in the comment section down below, okay? Peace.